Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the future star centre-back, the Italian centre-back, Alessandro Bastoni. We're going to go through the players, details, stats, clips, summary, all that good stuff before we get into all of that. If I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what you think of this card. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, this is the team that I used Alessandro Bastoni in. I put him on the right side of centre back and then moved him over to the left side because he is of course left footed in this game. First impressions of this card, guys. It's a reasonable card, it's a serviceable card. I do not think this card is brilliant, I just think it's very good. No, it's not just a good card to use. Will fit into a Serie A team with relatively little cost. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Alessandro Bastoni, 6'3", medium work rates, left-footed, 2-star moves, and 3-star weak foot. So it's nice to have that left-footed ability. Put him on the left side of your defense, along with your left back, and then have a right back right-footed. It's just nice to have that in terms of being able to play with that sort of player. The work rates are a little bit of an issue, guys. His defensive positioning is a little bit weird at times, but overall, I feel like it's manageable provided you take control of him when you're defending. He then becomes a very usable and solid defender. However, on his own, he does tend to have a little bit of a weird positioning element to him. I played 4 games with him, no goals and no assists, of course, as this is a defender review. Getting into the player details, I put a shadow on him, guys. Now, he was pretty decent with a shadow on him. I feel like his pace still suffered a little bit, even though he did have that boost to it. I do feel like this card was a little bit stuck in the mud as well, just with his agility too. We'll get into that as we get into some of the stats. Of course, his acceleration is 76 and his sprint speed is 84. So the wrong way around for me. I prefer that acceleration to be higher with that sprint speed lower, but unfortunately we don't have that in this card. The other weakness of this card, guys, is the agility. He does feel very stuck in the mud. Even more so than that 72 agility would suggest. He feels in the low 60s for agility. I had real struggle turning with him and moving with him. Another con of this card, guys, is it's only 80 strength. With a 6'3" centre back, I would want 90 strength or closer to that number. I feel like he isn't strong enough in the midfield and could use a little more of a boost in that regard. With regards to the strengths though, guys, he is very good in the tackle, very strong in the tackle, and capable, high level of aggression and a decent level of stamina. Not great, but a good level of aggression and tackling, which is always nice to have in these kinds of players. It means that you're very clean, crisp in the tackle and able to take the ball away with relative ease. In terms of player traits, again, guys, we've been done over by the future stars curse. There are no traits to speak of for this player, and with that being said, we're now going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. Let's go to the tape. So guys, getting into some of Alessandro Bastoni's clips, and what you guys are going to see here is just his overall defensive capability. Now guys, for the most part, I actually struggled a lot with this guy's pace, and you'll see that especially in that clip there, where I feel like his pace should be carrying him a little further, and it just didn't, and I really did struggle at times to defend with this card. However, guys, what I will say is that in the tackle, he is very clean, very usable, and does do the job well in the middle of your defense. However, guys, what I would say is that his pace is a big hold back of this card. Now, I would liken him a lot to Jerome Boateng, the player SBC that was released, but I do think that that card has the same drawbacks in terms of speed. This card doesn't make as many mistakes, in my opinion, but overall, I think it's still a decent card, especially for your Serie A teams. He's able to come out with the ball, play the ball reasonably well. He's aggressive into the tackle as well and into the interceptions. That makes it nice to use him as well, and is able to link up play. His dribbling is not phenomenal, so I would not recommend using him in terms of centre back and bringing the ball out. I would use him purely as a tackling centre back, win the ball back and get the ball up the field again. But guys, overall, I think this card is very serviceable as a centre back. I do not think he is the jewel in your defence that you should be building around, but he can do a job next to someone very solid, someone much quicker, maybe a Cannavaro style of player where he could win the headers and that player could do all the sweeping up around him. Again, guys, not so many clips for this review as we only did 4 games with this card, but overall you guys can see the capability of it. We were playing chase back a lot in this final couple of clips, guys. You guys are just going to see a couple more tackles in this one, a lovely little tackle again in the box. So guys, getting into this final Alessandro Bastoni summary: 225 on the PlayStation, 190 on the Xbox 225 on the PC. Of course, his key standout stats, guys, his defending is pretty good all across the board with that 93 aggression. Unfortunately, that 80 strength, it does hold him back a little bit, but I think overall the 93 aggression is pretty decent there. In terms of recommended chemistry style, guys, I do recommend you boost that pace and help his defending out a little as well. I think he needs that, so a shadow would be my recommended chemistry style for this card, guys. However, you guys may think differently. Let me know what your thoughts are on the chemistry style. In terms of similar players, guys, I would be looking, I don't think this Daenerys, but I think again that Jerome Boateng is a very good shout. Unfortunately, not shown on this page here, but that SBC Boateng, the Moments Boateng, very similar in terms of playstyle. I think Boateng's a little stronger, obviously, in the tackle and a bit bigger as well, of course. But Bastoni, very similar in terms of playstyle to that card. Guys, getting into the linkability, this is where it gets good for this card. Barella, perfect link, as well as Candreva and a bunch of other Italian players. You've also got links to all, of course, those Italian icons, as well as Italian players across the entirety of Serie A, as well as some other Inter players that you've got in there. Very nice players to pair him up with. Martinez, Lukaku's in there as well, Ciro Immobile. You've got a lot of players you can link this card into, so it's a very nice card to build into your team as well. Overall, guys, would I recommend buying this card? I do think that this card is a bit overpriced, guys, considering what you can get. So let's quickly take a look at that. If we look at where Bastoni sits in the Serie A centre backs, he sits above Robin Gosens. I don't think he is better than Gosens. I think Gosens has better pace, and that does directly affect how well he plays. I think Gosens, obviously being a little bit of a stronger player as well, I want to say, means that he's a little more capable, as well as that passing element as well, which is really big for me. The passing and the dribbling element of this card makes him a much better card. So I do not think that this Bastoni is worth it compared to that Gosens, and for me, I would like to see that price drop a little more before I would feel that this card is worth it. Which brings me back to my final recommendation, guys, is that if you want this player, let him drop a little bit before you do go out and buy this card. However, I do think if you do want to put together an Inter team or a Serie A team, this will be one of the centre backs that you could choose to put in right now until later on in the game when team of the season starts to roll around and those better cards start to come out. I think this is a fairly reasonable card, but I wouldn't be forking at 220k on him, guys. I don't think he is worth that. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button, and until next time, I will see you all in a bit.